If you could slip your hand into your loved one's pocket and pull out the unspoken truth, no filters, no politeness, no "I'm fine," what would you find? Not a verdict, a portrait. Because love doesn't just look at you, it interprets you. It decides what you mean. And here's the delicious twist. The same trait that makes you irresistible can also make you misunderstood. Some zodiac signs need good opinions the way lungs need air. They feel safer when they're admired, approved of, and read correctly. Libra, Leo, Virgo, Cancer, Taurus, and Capricorn are especially sensitive to how they're perceived, each for a different reason: beauty, pride, usefulness, emotional security, respectability, or status. Other signs walk through gossip like it's weather. Aries, Sagittarius, and Aquarius can genuinely shrug and keep moving. They don't live for applause. They live for momentum, freedom, or truth. And then there are the in-between souls: Gemini, Scorpio, Pisces, even Aries' quieter cousin in stubbornness. Taurus, yes, Taurus cares, but only about the opinions of specific people. Most of us pretend we don't care until the wrong person misunderstands us. Now, let's open the private room in your loved one's mind, the place where they don't just love you, they explain you. Aries. Your loved one thinks you're a spark that doesn't ask permission. To them, you're brave, blunt, and weirdly comforting because even when you're chaotic, you're real. They see someone who protects the people they claim, someone who would fight the world for love, but sometimes forgets that love isn't a battle, it's a home. Secretly, they admire how fast you recover, how you fall, get up, and keep going like pain is just a speed bump. But they also worry. Will you ever slow down enough to stay? What they wish you knew: when you soften your voice, it feels like sunlight on their skin. Taurus. Your loved one thinks you are safety with a pulse. They see you as steady, sensual, loyal, someone who can turn an ordinary day into something warm and beautiful just by being there. You're the one who remembers details: the favorite food, the right blanket, the exact kind of comfort that makes a person exhale. But there's a side of you that intimidates them too: your silence when you're hurt, your stubborn refusal to budge, your ability to go cold without raising your voice. They don't doubt your love, they fear your wall. What they really think in quiet moments: if I'm chosen by you, I'm chosen for real. And that's addictive. Gemini. Your loved one thinks you're a universe with two sunsets. You fascinate them: your mind, your humor, your ability to turn a heavy moment into something lighter without denying the truth. They feel alive around you because you create movement, plans, ideas, possibilities. You can flirt with life itself. But here's what they also think and rarely admit: sometimes you feel like a door that won't fully close. Like you're present, but also halfway somewhere else. They don't always know if you're joking or revealing a secret. What they secretly crave from you: consistency, not boring, not controlling, just a small sign that says, I'm not leaving the moment we get serious. Cancer. Your loved one thinks you're the definition of real love, not the glamorous kind, the kind that remembers, forgives, cooks, holds, waits. They see your heart like an ocean: beautiful, deep, sometimes stormy, always honest. You make them feel cared for in a way they can't explain to anyone else. But they also sense your protective shell, and they know you can disappear emotionally when you don't feel safe. When you get quiet, they replay everything they said for clues. They worry they've hurt you even when they haven't. What they wish you could hear: your tenderness isn't weakness, it's the reason I trust you. Leo. Your loved one thinks you're impossible to ignore, and they wouldn't want to. You light up rooms, you bring drama in the best way. You love like it's a vow spoken out loud. They see you as generous, proud, magnetic, intensely loyal when you feel respected. With you, life feels bigger: better dates, better stories, better laughter. But they also know your soft spot. You can act confident while quietly asking, do I still matter to you? When you don't feel appreciated, your warmth can turn into distance or a performance that hides pain. What they secretly adore: you don't just want love, you want devotion. And when you give it back, it's unforgettable. Virgo. Your loved one thinks you are the person who notices what everyone else misses. They see your intelligence and your quiet devotion: the way you help without announcing it, the way you love through action, fixing, improving, protecting. You make them feel supported, even when you're exhausted. But they also feel your inner pressure: the invisible checklist you carry, the standards you hold yourself to, the self-criticism that sometimes leaks into your relationship like a cold draft. They may worry they're being evaluated when you're simply trying to make things better. What they need you to remember: your love is already enough. You don't have to earn it through perfection. Sometimes the truth isn't harsh. It's just honest. Your loved one doesn't see you the way strangers do. They don't see your image. They see your patterns, your reflexes, the tiny things you do when you're tired, when you're jealous, when you're happy and trying not to show it. And here's the wild part. The very thing you worry people judge you for is often the exact thing your person is silently obsessed with. Let's open the second half of the zodiac mirror. Libra. Your loved one thinks you're elegance with a heartbeat. You have a way of making life feel softer, like music in the background, like a room that suddenly looks better because you're in it. They see your charm, your social intelligence, your ability to smooth tension and keep people from falling apart. Being loved by you feels like being chosen by someone who understands beauty and peace. But they also see your hidden struggle. You can hesitate so long that your feelings start to feel like a riddle. You try to be fair, but sometimes fair becomes distant, and your loved one wonders if you're truly satisfied or simply being polite. They can feel when you're pretending everything is okay, what they secretly want, for you to choose them loudly, without balancing the scales first. What they secretly believe, when you fully commit, you're the most loyal partner of all. Scorpio. Your loved one thinks you're intense in a way that's both terrifying and irresistible. You don't do half, you don't do maybe. Even your silence has weight. They feel like you can see through them, and sometimes you absolutely can. Your love feels protective, consuming, transformative. With you, relationships aren't hobbies. They're destinies. But they also know your shadow. Trust is your battlefield. When you sense betrayal, even a small one, you can become distant, sharp, or mysteriously calm. You test people without announcing it. You might forgive, but you never forget how it felt. What they secretly admire most, your loyalty is rare, almost sacred. What they fear, losing access to your heart and never getting it back. What they wish you knew, you don't have to control love to keep it. Love stays when it feels safe. Sagittarius. Your loved one thinks you're a breath of fresh air that turns into a storm of laughter. You make life bigger. You pull them out of mental cages. You remind them there's more than fear, more than routine, more than survival. You're the partner who says, let's go, and suddenly the world is wider. But sometimes they feel like they can't hold you, like you belong to the road more than the relationship. When things get heavy, your instinct is to joke, escape, or philosophize your way out. Not because you don't care, because you hate feeling trapped inside pain. What they secretly love, your honesty. You won't fake love. What they secretly need, reassurance that freedom doesn't mean distance. The truth in their mind. When you choose someone, you choose them like an adventure you never want to end. Capricorn. Your loved one thinks you're stability that can be built on. You feel like a future. You don't just promise, you prove. Even when you don't say much, your actions speak in a language that feels safe. Responsibility, protection, I've got you. They see your discipline and respect it. They also see how much you carry without complaining. But they also notice what you try to hide. You're softer than you seem. You feel deeply, you just don't always show it, because you were taught that love should be earned, not given. You can look emotionally distant when you're actually overwhelmed by feeling. What they secretly crave, warmth without needing to ask for it. What they secretly admire, you don't love for entertainment, you love for life. What they think when you finally open up, oh, this is the real treasure. Aquarius. Your loved one thinks you're different in the most addictive way. You don't copy anyone. You don't live by the rules of the crowd. You make them think, and you make them feel like they can be fully themselves around you, no masks. You love with respect. You don't suffocate. You expand people. But they also feel your emotional distance sometimes. Not because you don't feel, because you process feelings like a scientist. You can go quiet and disappear into your head, leaving your loved one wondering if they did something wrong. You can be affectionate one moment and untouchable the next. What they secretly want, emotional presence, not emotional perfection. What they secretly believe, your loyalty is real, it's just expressed as choice, again and again. Their private thought, if I can reach your heart without chasing you, this could be the purest love I've ever had. Pisces. Your loved one thinks you're magic, and sometimes they don't even know how to explain you. You feel emotions before they're spoken. You notice energy. You love in a way that feels like forgiveness, poetry, and healing all at once. You can make them feel understood on days they don't understand themselves. But they also see how easily you absorb pain, like you drink other people's sadness without realizing it. When you're hurt, you may retreat into fantasy, silence, or a soft kind of disappearance. You might say it's okay when it isn't. and then cry alone later. Your empathy is beautiful, but it can become self-erasure. What they secretly adore, your tenderness makes them gentler. What they worry about, that the world is too sharp for your heart. What they hope you learn, boundaries are not walls, they're protection for your love. The zodiac truth. Your loved one won't say out loud. Your loved one doesn't just love your best version. They love the strange little human parts too. The mood swings, the stubbornness, the overthinking, the fear of not being enough. Because love isn't a review, it's recognition.